On. And we're live. Welcome to the Javier Mendez podcast. It's been a long time since we've been live streaming. Maybe because we're always like, do we trust the hotel? Is the transmission going to come through? But you're at home. I'm at home. So we get a good signal. On to the card of a really exciting card last night. How would you rate the card overall?
One of the best of the year so far.
Yeah.
Right up there with Islam and Alex. You know, it's a great card.
Well, there is one pretty, memorable fight there. What a way to go out. One of the few that goes out on top. Robbie Lawler, first round knockout of Nico Price, made it look like he was back in his prime. Robbie did. What did you think of it? Did you see that fight, or did you? I mean, all you did really need to do is see the highlight. It was that short, but
no, I watched the fight. It was pretty great. It was actually incredible to see a former champion leave, knowing it's his last fight, leave in spectacular fashion like that. It rarely happens. You know, when GSP retired, it wasn't a spectacular win. Amanda Nunes, they retired with the belt, but it wasn't a spectacular win. I can't recall of anybody other than Khabib who basically retired in spectacular fashion. But even Khabib, no one knew he was going to retire, so that wasn't known. I mean, with Amanda Nunes, it was more or less known that she was going to retire. And GSP and Robbie Lawler 100% more so than the other two. It was interesting. I mean, he did fantastic. Most of the times, champions don't end up leaving like that. They end up like, with some of the other guys, like look at Robert Whittaker. I mean, now he's in a downward spiral. Tyrone Woodley, downward spiral. And retired Chuck Liddell. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on, but you can't go on with how many great, spectacular ways to leave the sport as a former champion. And Robbie Lawler did it, and it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
How was your last fight? Was it similar? Did you get a win and leave, or what was your deal?
Second round KO.
Yeah?
Yeah, knockout body shot, yeah.
And then it was good. You're like, I'm good.
No, I didn't know I was going to retire. My shoulder went out again. So that was it.
Robbie's been there for a long time. I mean, that guy had like 40-something fights. And
he's been in the UFC since 2002 or 2003. He came in early. He was a Milicic prospect. He came in amazing, guns a-blazing. He was a banger. And through the end, he was a banger to the end. But he was just a super nicest guy. Never changed. Always the same.
Yeah, no trash talk. There's no talk. Just talking with his fists. I mean, I remember epic battles like with him and Rory McDonald. That was
probably the most epic battle of epic battles.
Right. I mean, for a guy to retire like that, it's just amazing to see somebody go out on top. And we said it earlier, but there's not many people. There's only going to be a few. Everyone's going to get their butt beat out the door when they leave the sport. They have to let the new champion be dominant over them. And they're not always fighting on a title fight either, right? I mean, it wasn't a title fight.
No, it wasn't. And only very few have left on title fights that I can recall. And I recall Frank Shamrock being one of them. Khabib, Amanda, GSP.
That was it, huh?
I think that maybe somebody else, but right now that's all I can think of is champions that left. And out of the four, Robbie gets the most out of the four. Khabib gets the most spectacular way to end it, but his was unknown. So, I don't really know if we really qualify that as because he was unexpected. For him, it wasn't.
Yeah.
For me, it was because he never told me. But,
you're like surprised. You were surprised.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, "What? He's retired?" I go, "Oh, okay, all right. Well, hey, that's the way it goes." You have an apple, shiny apple, and you're buffing it out. It's all great, and next thing you know, it drops on the floor, and you're like, "Oh, where's my apple go?"
It's gone.
Get another one. Get another one.
Well, let's see. Now let's talk about the next fight that was really amazing. where we get to see the boxing skills. I mean, I was hearing Daniel talk this up, DC going deep about Bo Nickal. He's like, this guy's blue chip all the way. Like he's been bred, you know, in his sports and his training and everything to be a super elite champion. And he showed, did you see his knockout over Valentin Woodburn?
I seen his knockout, and I am gonna go on record to predict that is the future middleweight UFC champion. He has it all. He's got great ability, great wrestling. He's got great IQ. The way he did that, he came in, he hit him, faded out, came back and hit him again, hit him with pinpoint shots. I mean, no, he's the real deal. He's the future. He's the future.
Yeah.
He's the future. That right there solidified. I didn't know. I knew he was great, you know, but now I know he's the future. He's the future champ.
He wasn't a wrestler with a haymaker. He's a little more involved in that.
No, way more involved in that. Way more involved in that. And he proved that he didn't have to wrestle you to beat you up.
It's true. Next fight on the card to talk about. This guy got his armor hand broken. Dan Hooker did against Jalen Turner, who couldn't make weight. He had like his 3 pounds over. I mean, Jalen Turner's a big guy. And usually when people don't make weight, what is the cause for that? Is that something unhealthy happens? I mean, I hear this. I'm not the expert on this, but when people have trouble cutting and they're like 2 or 3 pounds over.
Motivation. Sometimes it's the body not responding because they get older. You know, diet, preparation. You know, those are 3 of the main ones. The motivation, meaning that they train hard enough. Oh, and I'm sorry, number 4, injuries. Injuries prevent you from working out like you normally do to drop that excess weight, and that could happen too. So all those 4 elements could have come into play with Jalen. I don't know what the deal was. Just know that he missed weight by 2 pounds, right? 2 pounds,
something like that. Yeah,
yeah, 2 pounds, and but he's a good fighter, man.
I think it was 2 or 3.
Fighter. He's a really good fighter. He really good fighter. He threw a great performance, and Hooker was basically getting beat, and he sucked it up, bit on his mouthpiece, and came forward and delivered the shots. You could tell when he hit him, Jalen turned his head like this. That's when it was almost like, oh, it's over. He didn't really want it. He didn't want it no more, you know. And then of course, you know, the pursuit, but going back and forth, Jalen did come back, you know. But it was a very good scrap. It was very good scrap, and it just shows that Hooker is, you know, he's a real fighter. He's a real fighter. You know, he comes to do or die, and he did that. He proved that, you know, having a broken wrist to boot, you know. So that just shows you what determination does for you. And Hooker showed determination. You know, he showed determination, and hey, man, it was a great performance by him.
Yeah, that was a warrior one. That's for sure. Might not like what you got to say, but you know what? Respect the fighter. That's the name of the game. That's how it is, right? Pretty much. You know. Let's see what we got here. Okay, and we're gonna get to some of these chats. Thank you everyone for tuning in today, and you know, we'll let Hav respond to you after we get through this little fight thing here. So I think I jumped. So no, actually, Dricus du Plessis versus Robert Whittaker. Was that an upset? Was that shocking, or was that expected? Did you like, hey, there's a new guy, he's got something new?
This was up in the air, whether it was expected or not. But what is now expected is a great middleweight fight between Adesanya and him, because you saw Adesanya, how he acted. He was very pumped up, very motivated, fired up. He's fired up. He is fired up. You heard his words, all the bad things he was saying, and Dricus was, you know, he was composed, and you know, but Adesanya, you could see it in his face, man. He had that same attitude he had like he did when he was going to fight Alex in the rematch. Same kind of look, like I'm going to destroy somebody. I'm out for blood, and you know, sometimes I will say the vast majority of the times that doesn't work. It works against you. But it worked for him against Alex. That attitude worked again for him, not against him. More normally, you would tell a fighter, don't be that way. Relax, chill out. It's going to, expend your energy. You're going to make mistakes, and watching the Adesanya fight and the Alex fight, the second rematch, right, in MMA, he was making mistakes. He was making mistakes, and Alex was winning that fight, but it took one shot from Adesanya's vengeful mind, and I'm going to crush this dude to do what he did. So he could do that again with that kind of attitude because he's got so many skills, that he can do it in so many different ways on the striking wise. He can do it in so many different ways, that I expect that fight. I'm very interested in that fight, extremely interested. And it's because Adesanya made it very interesting by his attitude because he's taking this guy very serious. I haven't seen him look this serious until the last rematch with Alex. He did the same with him. Took him very serious. He's got the same attitude going into this fight. So I'm looking for a great fight from those two. I don't know how it's going to end up, but I'm looking forward to it.
What threats do you think Duplessis poses for Izzy? What's different? What does he bring to the table that maybe we haven't seen in a combination? Like,
he's a big, strong guy. He's got the light heavyweight that Volkanovski lost to. He's got that kind of grappling style, strong. But better grappler. He's a better grappler, but not much better. But he's still a better grappler. This guy is a beast, man. He's like an oak, and he can hurt you with the hands too, as you saw with Robert Whittaker.
Not too many people lit up Robert that easily.
No,
they have. Easy. I think didn't Izzy knock him out? If I recall, I'm not really remembering.
Izzy handled Robert the first time very easily, not too much hard work. The second fight was very difficult for Izzy. It was not that easy. The later rounds, Robert started taking Izzy down, and it started working in his favor. So it wasn't an easy fight, but it wasn't necessarily a close fight by Robert either. Izzy kind of took him the first fight very easily. The second fight, a little bit of trouble, not much, but still they showed signs that the Robert and him, if they had did a third fight, could be a barn burner. But this one right here, from the way it finished, it looks like this will be a better fight than Robert and Adesanya.
That's just something like you look at it. What I see a super strong guy. I saw the way he grabbed him. It's like almost a neck judo throw. That's what it looked like. I mean, he just grabbed him with brute strength and threw him, hip tossed him from a different way of grabbing it. And he just threw him to the ground like it was nothing. And then I saw the power in his punches. And I think of Robert Whittaker as like the gatekeeper, the champion. It's kind of weird to see a champion be a gatekeeper because he's a very dominant champion for a while. And now to tell Izzy, hey, I'm a member of your club too. Look what I just did to the guy that, you put out. And I think that's what I was taking away from watching that fight,
Well, I don't, Robert Whittaker to me is not a gatekeeper. He's still, he's still champion material. It's just.
I won't deny his championhood. I'm not trying to.
He got caught. He just got caught. So Robert could get back up. He's still young enough. It just depends on what he wants to do. He could still win that title. Against any of those guys, he could do a rematch and win that fight. He just got caught. I'm just saying that this makes it a very interesting fight for Adesanya. But if Robert would have won in good fashion, or even if he just would have won, it still would have made it an interesting fight. But this makes it more interesting because of the way he beat Robert. But Robert's no gatekeeper in my eyes. That guy is a great champion, and I just believe that Robert is going to come back if he wants to. He can come back super strong.
I think I phrased that wrong. I should have said litmus test, like, test to the championship level. And the way he dealt with the champion, it showed that he's ready for a title fight. Yes, that's what it did show by beating Robert. But by no means is Robert, a gatekeeper. No way. No, I agree. I said that wrong. So let's see. Let's take just a couple of chats and we'll get on deeper into the show. So Jesus says, saludos. There, that's for you, Hav, or it's for me too because I speak Spanish.
That's a hello.
And then Yasir Gulistani, what do you think about Chimaev?
I think very highly of Chimaev. He's a true warrior. He's got great energy. I love how he attacks the fight, and how, when he goes to what he does best, the ground. I love that. But he's willing to bang with anybody too. You know, Chimaev is definitely, in my opinion, a future champion, middleweight champion. Middleweight, I don't see him as a welterweight, only because I think he's just too big. I see him and Bo Nickal having a great fight.
Yeah.
You know, somewhere down the line, and hopefully it's in a championship fight. Hopefully by the time we see those two fight, one of them is a champion, and whether it be Chimaev and Bo Nickal fights for the title, or whether it be, you know, Bo Nickal and Chimaev fights him, I don't know, but I'd like to see those two guys in a title fight.
I heard a crazy thing. I'm just bringing it up in the middle of the stream. The other day I was listening to an MMA podcast, and it was Sean Strickland. He's like, yeah, our guys, you know, he's like, the people from out of the country, they fight, they take that money back. They're rich as hell, but the money doesn't go that far in the States for the American fighters. He says if it was NFL money, we would see more competitive American fighters. What do you think about that statement? I just thought that was something I wanted to bring up to you.
He has a very good point. Very good point. Very good point. Listen, I have a fighter from Uruguay, okay? And he says in his country, he was making $1 an hour. And he comes up here at the U.S. in San Jose and making minimum wage, and minimum wage is like $17 an hour. So now you imagine that. So $1 an hour, he survived over there. Can you imagine how you can survive with $17 an hour?
Yeah. Well, he was referencing that you're Dagestani guys, because I guess the money goes well. They can build a farm with the money from a fight, even if it's not the title fight. And
yes,
like,
yes, they can. Well, listen, as comparison, I had this one guy, Ozzy. Ozzy's a coach now, and he coached one of the fighters that lost on this event. Well, Ozzy used to come train with us once in a while, and he had to have surgery, and he went home to do the surgery in Russia with the top-notch surgeon, and it cost him $600. That surgery, he said, if he had it done a year, would have cost $15,000 or $16,000. And he goes, you get treated like a king over there with the kind of money that he spent over there. He didn't even spend about $1,000, somewhere in that neighborhood, and he was like living high. So yes, the money exchange is different, and if it was that way, the U.S. guys, yeah, just like think about that. Your way, $1, you know. So if a guy fights for like say the first entry into the UFC 10-10, what does that really mean?
yeah,
that means 170,000 and 170,000 in Uruguay. They can do a lot with that.
I had a friend, and she was Russian, and she went back to Russia to get some procedures done. And she's like, it was so inexpensive, and people treated her so good at the hospital. She was tipping them like she was at a resort. And I go, yes. Wow. Yeah. Well, that's I could see that.
Yeah.
Not here. You don't feel like doing that at Kaiser or you don't feel like doing that one. Oh, so we got love you, Javier Mendez, and that's from JR. And let's see, good morning, coach, from Omar Malklash, and best coach ever from Hashir Abdallah. And of course, another I love you from Hashir Abdallah. Coach is back. And this is a gentleman I was talking to here and there. It's now Glue CKS. So good evening, coach. And he's a pianist. He actually was playing the music for, I believe it was Islam or Habib's entry music on piano. Nice. He's really good. Get a really good channel. So check out his channel. And let's see. Here's a good question. We get a question here from Omar. Did you notice Volk using moves and pressure, especially with the hip and takedowns, learned from the Islam fight? Interesting.
Yes, I did, but I don't know if it's taken from the Islam fight. It was just Volkanovski just was extremely smart in his fight IQ. He fought Yair perfect for what he needed to do. Very intelligent fighter, man. Extremely intelligent. Fought smart.
Sunglasses are back, and good morning to us from Hoya. And this one is like, good morning, guys. I'm the biggest fan. Love Coach and Team Eagle. Oh, sorry, it's kind of slipped on me. Can you read that one, Hav? I kind of
all the way good, but luck in the live about 50 miles from Nashville. Hope to see you then with Umar. He lives 50 miles from Nashville, where Umar's going to fight Corey Sandhagen on August 5th.
And this
hope to see him there.
This is a standard question from latest Ukrainians, kind of hard to say your name. Coach, will Khabib be in Islam's corner? Yes, we're going to get this one frequently, aren't we?
Habib just basically told me he did his interview about that already. So until he says otherwise, no, I'm not even going to talk to him about it. So don't expect Habib to be in his corner. Expect Habib to always train the guys. He always will do that, whether it be by phone or whether it be in person. But he won't. He's not. So far, it's he's done. He's done.
This is his family. He didn't divorce them. He's still with them.
He's still with them. He's still with them.
Yeah, we're just not seeing the same visual perspective from the UFC.
Everything else is there, but the visual.
Right. So this is one I got. MMA Squad. Hey, Len, can you ask Hav what's next for Usman and Bellator?
We're fighting Brett Premise in the semifinals. We don't know where yet. We don't have a date. We're waiting for Bellator to come back on the date where hopefully, October, September timeframe, November too. I don't know when is the date for the semifinal, but we're looking forward to that. Brett Premise is a tough customer, and Usman, he's a great one for a reason. He'll destroy him. I know he will. He's just very difficult to beat. Very difficult to beat.
He's fighting the most flexible grappler I've ever seen, but that's beside the point. He doesn't have to grapple him. Or whatever, he'll do it his way.
You see what he did to Benson Henderson. No one's ever submitted him.
That's true, and it's also it's interesting. The guy that Tarzan that Islam fought many years ago was wiped out by Premise, which was surprising. Were you surprised by that win, or was that just show you the levels of MMA, how it's changed since that fight, which was many years ago?
I was surprised because of what I heard about the French guy, but being how tough Brett was, I was thinking he could pull it off because he's that durable, he's that tough, and he pulled it off. So yeah, no, I'm not surprised. But now that I know exactly what we're looking for, I look forward to Brett Premise for me because I know him. We fought him already with Islam Makhachev, so I already know what we're looking for. So that was good for me. It was very good for me.
You get a look. You get to test.
I already saw we already fought him with Islam Makhachev, so I already know what he has.
Okay. This is one from Potof. Dana said he's announcing an Abu Dhabi card. Does Islam have a fight booked? That's something we were going to get into today.
No fight booked. We don't know.
Nothing booked.
Let Dana do what Dana does, and because I can tell you, we're going to fight so and so, and it doesn't happen until the contracts are signed. Nobody knows. The UFC knows, and they'll announce it when a fight's signed.
Well, this one we'll get back to. Subrata will talk about Volk and Yair. We got to get on to the next fight, and then we'll come back to some of the chats. Otherwise, we'll just be on chats all day, which we do want to do, but we also want to finish the card breakdown. So let's see. The next one we got here is this. Alessandro Pantoja, Brandon Moreno, super wild fight, super exciting. You as a coach probably looked at it differently than a standard person. You with your boxing background and how somebody were to approach this, what you might have said to your guy in the corner. What advice or anything differently would have said to Brandon Moreno? It's like the way he was handling it.
Well, the way he came out in the second round was the best way. The way he came out in the first round was very stupid, and I would have been pissed at him. And I'll tell you what the secret is that people just don't understand, and I don't know why they let him do it. When you have your hands like this, see how open they're like this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And he's just looking to cover for a shot. It takes literally less than a second to close and punch, right? But if the other guy's hands and he's punching and you're going like this, you have to do what?
Yeah. You have to set up your
close and go.
Yeah.
And then you're looking to take a shot. You're not looking to give a shot. So watch the second round. Watch Moreno comes out like this, and then all of a sudden he goes like this, and he starts hitting, boom. And that's when he hurt him. That's when he won fantastic. I go, well, that's what he should have been doing in the first place. So I don't know what the heck he was doing. He screwed that up, And then Pantoja, he's a man. He just hung in there through and through, and I felt Pantoja won every round but the second round. But some of them were super close. There was actually one round that was super close, other than the second round, which Brandon definitely won. But there was another close round. But Pantoja definitely, in my opinion, won the fight. I had it 4-1, but it could have been 3-2 Pantoja.
I mean,
the fans, fight. One of
fans were on Moreno's side. Fans were on Moreno's side too, right?
But it was formerly a Latin crowd too, and you got to understand, if it was a Brazilian crowd, it would be, if the opposite was the same way, it would be the same thing. They're hardcore fans, and
where they say you're gonna die in the crowd.
They go with you. They die with you. They go with
right.
you. They don't care. They don't care. That's just the way it is.
The way you told me this yesterday about the punch. When you get a punch to knock somebody out, if someone's sitting there all loose and then they don't load, like we said, loading the gun with the punch, right? It's like
it's not like a closed fist, right? I mean, like a clenched fist, like this.
Well, if it's loose, you can break a knuckle too. Yeah.
You're doing this, you're taking shots.
Right.
You hit me and I got to hit you. And if I'm going like this, if I got to hit you, what am I doing? Look, if I was going here,
right,
just here, boom, it's there already. I have to do this. See, just this. That's just a little bit, just a tiny bit, and it makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And I know fighters that do this are probably going to go, shit, I didn't think of it that way. Well, you should think about it that way, because that's going to hurt you. Another thing too, Robert Whittaker was fighting with his hands down and he had his elbow down, but he didn't have his shoulder like this, which was smart. That was smart of Robert to have like this, because then he can punch. He can do with the jab down. Whereas Sean Strickland, he does this and he has his hand inside here. So he can't protect wrestling. He can't protect from wrestling. That's why Sean got taken down right away. Not that he even cares, but the way Robert Whittaker did it was his shoulders out here, chin was tucked, but he was able to, from this position, he was able to jab real easy.
Sean Strickland's got a lot of injuries, is what he talked about on the podcast. That's why he has to fight like straight up, like Duke of York kind of style.
That guy,
Queensbury boxing rules, right?
He's definitely a warrior, man, and he definitely he comes to fight. You got nothing but love and respect for him. He can fight the way he wants to fight. He's not going to listen to people that don't coach him. So, and even his coaches, who knows if he'll even listen to them. I think he's got his own opinion on how he wants to fight. And the one thing you can't say is this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He knows what he's talking about, especially for himself, and he spars all the time. So he knows how to fight. He just feels he found his niche. He knows how to win with it. And, I think that based on his performance, I think that he's probably going to be the backup to the backup.
Makes sense. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. You never know with Dana.
I think Strickland has earned the right to get a title fight after Adesanya and the Plessis go. But hey, it may end up being that Strickland may not want to wait around and take another fight. I mean, I could see him doing that rather than waiting.
He's like, I'll take the money. Well, like he says he's a company man. He'll do whatever. But,
I think so. I think he'll take the money if they want him to, and I think he'll rest if they want him to. Like he is. How can you not like him? I don't know. I like him.
The underdog. That's the thing. You gotta love the scrappy, I don't give a damn, full-hearted underdog. I'm a brawler. Let's go type of guy. I was gonna say, like, if you look at the two fights, like who that gets to fight Izzy. Did Strickland's, first round knockout or no, second round knockout, right? And this other one kind of ends in like second round TKO as well, in a way, right? So they're both, but it's all about trending with Dana, which fight gets made. So just like to predict, instead of predicting fights, let's predict which fight gets made. I'm looking at all the hype with Izzy there and the banter, and I bet that just streams all through the Google, keywords and searches, and everybody's all hyped up on that. And I bet you that gets more heat, and that may end up being the fight to be made, even though Strickland is a worthy opponent. Unless there's an injury.
I don't know. You got the fight yesterday. What do you call it? Was 5-0 in the UFC. Now he's 6-0. And he's the champ Whittaker. He had won his last fight before that. So. And you're talking about a former champion too, so I don't see how you're going to surpass that. That's going to be very difficult to do. But anything's possible because you just never know if someone's ready to fight at this time or injuries could happen. You'll never know till the UFC says this is what the match we're going to make. So it's hard to say.
I think a lot of it has to do with what's trending, and they can just measure. Oh, okay, we get 5,000 people, we can sell this many pay-per-views, whatever. I think that's how it works, but I could be wrong. Let's.
I don't think you are. It's just now it all depends on what they can work out.
Dun, 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 here we are at the big one right here. So, what did you? What was your takeaway from this? I mean,
this was an entertaining fight. It was one of those fights where Alex proved how great he is by what he did. He adjusted. He did something he normally doesn't do. You know, he was getting outstruck on the range fighting. So he changed the script to being the wrestler, and he could wrestle, and he proved he can wrestle also. So he took Yair down, and he thoroughly dominated him on the ground, and it wasn't until he hit him with the right hand, right, with the right like hook like, and hurt Yair, and then he pounced on him, and then you notice how he didn't go to the strike. He went boom boom, dumped him. That was a beautiful display of a guy that's super smart, great IQ, and let's see what happens. Let's see if they give him to Islam, or they give someone else to Islam, or but somewhere down the line, we're gonna have to fight him again, and I look forward to it because it'll be a great fight, and he's definitely after that performance, and then Oliveira's talking about how he wants to fight in November or December. Well, he's not going to get to decide when he fights for the title. The UFC decides that, and I believe it's got Islam scheduled on October 21st because they need him for Abu Dhabi, and I believe that's 100% the fight that makes sense for Islam to stay there. And who the opponent is, I don't know, and it could be Oliveira too. Oliveira could say, "Never mind, I'll fight him in Abu Dhabi." I don't know.
Well, I saw some comment. Volk was like, I don't think there's going to be enough heat on Ipuria next. Like, it won't sell as much. So he's like thinking like Dana, like, I want to get pay-per-view money. So he's probably get his mind set on Islam, even though it hasn't been, I don't think, just yelled out in public. But I just saw like it could be a clickbait article or whatever. I didn't watch the video where I think it was Dana. Dana was going, yeah, that it's not off the table. Basically, it's not off the table that those
Elias is not off the table. That's a great fight with Volkanovski.
It's great for the brand. Great for the brand.
That's a fight that can go different too. Because now you got a guy that's got great jiu-jitsu, unlike Yair, who doesn't have great jiu-jitsu. Yair is a great distance fighter, unorthodox, super quick, very difficult to deal with, but he doesn't have great jiu-jitsu. This guy's got great jiu-jitsu, great boxing for MMA. Elias has got great boxing for MMA, more so than Alex. He's got better boxing than Alex, and kicking wise, they might be even, but he's got better boxing. With Alex probably has over anybody is that champion mentality to beat crush anybody. Yeah, and horsepower. Yeah.
He's a light heavyweight at 155 pounds as far as his bench press. Whatever his power
or heavyweight. I mean,
he's a heavyweight. He's a heavyweight at 155.
Yeah.
The power of a heavyweight in a smaller man. Yeah.
Don't tell me a little guy can't do anything.
Oh, dude.
That guy, he can crush people.
He just pick big heavyweights over his head and go jogging with them. That's see that. Well, that's an interesting take. Now we get some stuff here. Let's see. It says talk about Yair and Volk. I mean, I'll just ask one more thing. I kind of thought like it could go the way that it did. I kind of look at the durability, the compactness, the power, the muscle ratio, the type of physique and training, the way that Volk does it. He really game plans hard and tries to bring in someone to mirror whoever he's against. And there was always that chance that he would fold up Yair. Yair, if he gets the punches and kicks off on you, but nothing really seemed to super shock. Didn't seem to super shock Volk that much because when you're that compact, you get a thick neck. Your shock absorbers are heavy duty. You get a chin.
There was close calls, but nothing substantial landed. Volk did fantastic. Nothing came close.
I think you'd have to hit Volk right on the button to knock him out. I think it's like anywhere
Well,
else, it's going to bounce off.
to knock him out, okay, but to stop him, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, you probably have to knock him out to stop him from trying. But he's just one of the great ones. No, he's definitely the greatest featherweight, of all time, and he's on the pound for pound list again after that performance. So, but things change. First it was, et cetera, et cetera. Then it's John Jones. Now people are talking about Volk as a pound for pound. It's like whatever.
It's
Champions
whatever.
are champions.
Champions are champions, right? Now, do you think there was a lot learned from that fight with Islam and this last two fights of Volk? Is there more data for the AK for your coaching? Like, did you pick up a lot of stuff?
Of course, yes, and they did too. They did
Yeah.
too. We all did. So we have, when that fight happens, we have our work cut out for us. Both of us do. There's no cakewalk for them, And remember, you got two fighters that can switch many different ways. It isn't like Islam can't stand with Volk either.
Yeah,
he definitely can. So, and it isn't like Volk can't survive the ground either. He definitely can. He proved that. So
yeah.
we both can change. We'll see what happens. It's just one of those things that when that fight does happen, and I'm expecting it to happen at some point, it's going to be epic. It's going to be one of those second fight between champion versus champion that delivers again. It will deliver again.
I just there's one more thing I want to bring up before we get to the chats. I sent you that article earlier about
GSP grappling.
Yeah. GSP possibly grappling Khabib.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know where Khabib's headed. I would think not. I don't think it's going to happen. If I had to guess, I'd say Khabib's not involved in anything that's going to, because Khabib is not going to take it lightly, and he'd have to train properly. So that means take away time from his kids, and I don't think he's going to do that. So
that's a fight his dad always wanted. His dad wanted that fight so bad.
But an MMA fight at 155. Okay, yeah. I was in the car when that happened, so that wasn't a grappling match. Now this is something Khabib would have to want to do for his dad, in regards to that. But I'm not going to talk to him about it. He's made his comments about where he's at, and that's it. So him wanting, George coming back to competition, and this is jiu-jitsu competition or MMA grappling competition, right? It's exciting, but it's not. I mean, I'm not going to stay home to watch that. Let's put it that way. I'm not.
Okay, that's from an MMA coach and a former world champion kickboxer. That makes sense. Let's see what we got here. We got a question here. Who are the promising fighters coming out of AKA that are in that are there year round? The California guys.
Year round, there's Theo Haig, there's Muhammad Alarak, Mark Climaco, who's in the Asian road to the UFC for Singapore. He's in that. Another one is Daniel Allen. Daniel Allen is a good prospect. They're there year round. Those are the four. Those are the four that will do something. Then we got some younger up and coming kids, but they haven't had any pro fights yet. But they're very young, very athletic, and they're going to do really well.
Yeah, it's like some people. Like I was there, hanging out by your gym, and I saw some guys, and I was like, I hadn't been around the whole cycle. You've been doing this for decades of your life, and how long does sometimes a guy hang out before he's known? Like in your gym, could it be 4 or 5 years? All of a sudden, he hits the UFC. I mean, you might not see him on a bunch of little other fight cards. How's that usually work?
4 or 5 years is the short track.
Short track?
Yeah, that's a short track. Yeah.
What's the longest a guy is in your gym and then he gets to the UFC? What would you say?
7, 8 years, sometimes even 10.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the people that have made short track work into getting in there, Koscheck, DC was the shortest short tracker of them all. Cain Velasquez was in the UFC after his second fight. He fought his first fight in Calgary against Brad Morrison, and his third fight in the UFC. So those are some of the fast tracker guys, but everybody else usually, so it's a lot longer, 7+ years to get into for if you're not injured, and you're healthy to get in there. It's tough, man. It's bringing a fighter from scratch and getting them to the UFC level is very difficult. And we're still one of the very few gyms. We're probably the only gym that has this caliber of fighters going from scratch, not coming from another gym, from scratch. Starting in our gym and making it there through MMA fighting.
Kane came through you for scratch, didn't he? I mean, Kane was
Luke Rockhold, Kane, DC, John, people like that. Those three particular, to name the three that have come from scratch. Yeah.
But he started fighting quickly. Kane did, right? Because he had all the wrestling and.
No. The guy that fought quickly was DC.
How fast did he go from 0 to?
Real quick. He fought like almost 4 times in a little bit over a month, and almost fought 4 times. He was fighting like crazy because he was older. DC had DC come as a young man. Oh my gosh, I don't know what we would have had. he would have destroyed a lot of people. Who knows what would have happened with his career? It's hard to say, hard to predict. Just know that he came in when he was 30.
Wow. This one right here is kind of on par what we're talking about. This is interesting. I didn't think about this. Maybe we both, we're keeping mind of, keeping track of everything that's happening. It says, hey, Hav, who does Islam fight next? Oliveira says he's not ready for October. Volk is having surgery. I forgot about that.
No,
yeah,
Volk is saying that for Islam, he may neglect the surgery for now. That type of thing. He's kind of saying if he gets Islam, he may bypass the surgery, because that's what I read too. But now there's a lot of things we don't know. We read what we read, but we don't know what the real deal is. We don't really know if Oliveira is playing that I want to fight in Brazil. You know what I mean? Because he feels he earned it. Because maybe his people are telling him, say this, say that. You don't know. We're just speculating. We're all allegedly speculating. We're not in the know, even though we read it.
Yeah.
And until you talk to Dana White personally, then and the fighter, then you probably know more. But no.
We're reading the horoscope and we're trying to interpret
how
our day's going to go.
What's going to happen, and we may be correct, but also don't be shocked if you're wrong either.
This is I don't know how you would know this, but who would you guess? What's the next best possible opponent for Khamzat? I kind of was listening to Usman say it may or may not be going on, or there's been some strange stuff like he wasn't ready, or Dana said something. I don't know. I was like, I just see rumor stuff as I glaze through the internet, and I don't have a pure recollection on this, but I mean, do you think that would be a great fight, Usman and Khamzat?
Of course, it'd be a great fight, but is it a fight that Khamzat should take? Because I still say he's a big guy, man. All I keep seeing is a big guy. I keep seeing weight problems, So, maybe they do catch weight. I don't know.
Stick at 185.
Or maybe Khamzat makes 170.
He's got the grit, but he did miss one time. So you can't
by major though. It wasn't by little bit. It was 7 pounds. That's
came in thick.
Yeah. I've seen him in person. That's a big guy.
Yeah.
He's a big guy, and he's getting older, so he's getting harder to make that weight. That's a big weight. I've never seen too many great fighters miss by that much. And one thing for sure, I feel he's a future champion for sure still, and I definitely know he's a great fighter. I've seen him. He's special. He is special. But the weight, I'm only concerned is the weight. I can see him, like I've said before, winning the light heavyweight title also because he's that big. And he's that good.
Yeah. I'd love to see him against Izzy. That's the one I've been craving for a while. Both masters of their domain,
Yeah, well, Bo Nickal and him, but you know what?
Bo Nickal is another threat. Like we got that.
Let one of those guys win the title and let them fight after that, because that's what I would say. And Bo Nickal would not want to fight him right now because it's stupid. Build his name up more. Keep going, and let Khamzat probably win the title at one point when he wins it. If he fights the way I know he could fight, which is the ground. You can't stop him on the ground. Not many people can. But I think Bo Nickal is that guy that has the highest potential to deal with him on the ground.
Yeah. This is a good one right here, Hav. D. Luffy. What are some tips for starting MMA fighters? I'm not from the US, but looking to start in the future. We were just talking about the 4 to 10 year cycle, depending on your level of other sports or what you do. I mean, what would you say? I mean, let's say that what age, what sports background, and what should be that determination, and what should you expect before you get to the cage on average?
Well, on average, if under 23 of age, on average.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. What's happening now with the new generation? There's a guy at Mayweather's gym. I forgot his name. But this kid is like 16 years old. He is a boxing champion, one of the best amateur boxers. He is a kickboxing champion, one of the best there, and he's also an MMA champion, and he's a wrestling champion. This kid's doing everything. He's like the Michael Jordan of MMA. He's with Mayweather's group. I read up about him. I said, holy shit. That's the kind of guy that everybody's going to have problems with because they're coming that young. They're coming 4 years old in the gyms. They're doing that with their fathers training them, and they're getting involved in mixed martial arts at a very young age, and boxing and kickboxing and everything. They're doing everything. So, but on average, 23 is on average. But
when should you start martial arts? What's the average starting in martial arts? When
under 23, if you're going to do
15, 12, 16 years old. What do you think?
If you're gonna do it properly, you want to be like one of the best now, like they're coming out there, 4 years old.
Yeah, like from Dagestan, it starts at 4. That's why your champion's so young, right?
Yeah, if you're telling me how the best scenario, start as young as possible. Get involved, wrestling, even gymnastics. Anything that's related to some kind of you against you. That type of thing. Your physical strength. Start young. That's what I say because that's what's happening, and you're going to notice that, like any sport, right? Even in football, even in football now they got these little young kids that they're already directing them towards the college and the whole bit. It's amazing what they're doing with these kids.
This interesting one, Coach. You need to pull Yair to tour camp. Jackson Wink is going to end his career to your camp. I guess that's what he's saying.
He's not with Wink. He only Izzy, the wrestling coach, is trains at Wink, but he trains with the other guys in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. He was with Wink for a little bit, but they split. The coach, the coach is Bilal Muhammad's coach. He's an awesome dude. We're good friends. So we're talking good friends, but yet I blanked out on his name. The short-term memory.
My friend, that guy.
My friend, that guy. Yeah.
Him, that dude, that guy.
We spent a lot of time with him in Abu Dhabi when Bilal came on our team and he trained with us. So we spent time with his coach, and he's a great guy. Great guy. I've known him for a while. Yair's coach needs to stay. Yair's coach. He's got a great coach.
See, that's a true coach right there. It's like you're not a greedy hog. I need everybody. I need everything. Plus, I don't think the mental capacity to focus on that many great people at once. I mean, at what point does that run out?
I don't know. I just I have my people and I don't change. Look, there's been a lot of people that have knocked on our doors trying to get through to train with us, and they haven't been able to. We run a very short list of amount of fighters, but we're like family. We're not taking just anybody because you're a name. If you don't fit, you don't fit. The rule to get in with us is you have to get along with everybody. And if there's a problem with the coach, with that particular person that wants to come in, one coach or one fighter is not allowed in. And I don't even respond to them. I just said I either say nothing or I say you've been denied. So it's not like we're out looking for fighters to come through. We're not, and if there's one fighter in the gym that has a problem with the other individual that wants to come through, then we won't let him in, regardless of whether he makes millions or not. Doesn't matter.
I was about to ask that. Is there anybody, without naming names, that asked to be a part of your gym that you're like, damn, we should have got that one? Was there one or two or three of those that came your way first?
There was guys that came through they make a lot of money, but no, no, I don't look at the money. I look at the keeping the family together. That's why we're still the longest reigning team in the history of the sport that's still together, top team. And one of the reasons,
values.
We stick to our. But not all the time do we manage it properly. We do screw up, but we try to stick to the values as much as possible. Look what happened to John Jones and Wing.
Yeah,
they separated because of stuff like that, and that's why I try to prevent that.
Keep it easy. Keep it family. Keep it business. Keep the rules. Stick to the rules, and that's how it works, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, this. I can. Yeah, I know. I talked to you a lot. Is there a grappling match where Khabib will complete because they posted on Instagram that they are training for something, not MMA? This is back to what we brought up earlier. I was just putting it up there because sometimes people see stuff that you and I don't know, and you said that you wouldn't ask Khabib. So it's kind of like, that's fine. Maybe.
Khabib grapples all the time. He never stopped.
Yeah.
I could say that.
Yeah, that's true. This is a point from Lord of Dagwan, House of Rastafari. Brandon was killing with the jab, but he didn't use it enough.
Correct. He didn't fight the right strategy. He fought the right strategy in the second round, being the aggressor, coming in with his hands clinched and giving different angles and using the jab. He did a beautiful body shot to the head, hook combo. It was beautiful, but he didn't do it enough. Brandon did not do it enough, and he needs to have better takedown defense, and he's working on it. He's working on it because he has some really good wrestlers that were with us, Kyle Kretschmer and Nicky Piccanini, these guys are really, really good wrestlers, really great kids, and I'm sure they can help Brandon improve for the next one more. But they need more time. It's not like you can get wrestling in one day. You gotta, continuously work with that. So Brandon, I didn't think fought the smarter fight. He's a great fighter, but with him, right, is he's such a great, exciting fighter. He'll probably fight for a title again. He's so exciting, so
he'll find his way back up. You can't keep him down. You can't keep that guy down.
He's 0-3 against Pantoja now, but that doesn't mean you can't be formed.
It was like it might take 4 to get there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay, I can't pronounce your name, but Coach, what are your thoughts on Tahir's next fight?
Tahir, we'll see what's happening. I don't know just yet. But Tahir comes to fight, no matter who it is. But he's got a real tough opponent. But let's see. Time will
tell. Is he fighting in Tennessee with Umar?
Yeah, scheduled to fight. Yes, scheduled to fight. Yeah.
Okay. And let's see here. MMA squad. After Usman defended his title 4 or 5 times in Bellator, please tell Dana to sign him. UFC Islam welterweight champ. Usman lightweight king. That's imagine if you stacked it all the way up. What was the most champions you had at once? 3. In the UFC at the same time?
At the same time, 3. Yeah, it was 3.
It was like lightweight.
It was basically DC, Kane, and Luke.
Wow. That's the trifecta right there. And then this one right here, it says, I had a feeling Yair was going to lose, but I had so much hope for the miracle kick. I second that emotion. He came in with the same exact game plan that he did for Frankie Edgar. Did you think the miracle kick would show up, or did you think that the shock absorber super chin was going to show up and that wouldn't matter too much?
I was thinking, I was wanting Yair to win, but I was thinking he wasn't, even though I wanted him to win. I was hoping it would land, but it didn't.
This one right here, how the matchup between, how do you think the matchup plays out between Shavkat and Burns? Ooh, that's a good one. Great
matchup. Shavkat, I take him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got that killer in him, and I take him. He can finish at any time. He doesn't stop trying to look for the finish either. You know, and Gilbert is durable, and you can never count him out. And Gilbert can, you know, put the tracks on Shavkat and say, yeah, maybe not this time, maybe next time. That's possible too. Gilbert is that good, so he's proved it.
This is an interesting one. Coach, unrelated question. Do you have time? I can visit, AKA take a couple photos and paint you for the gym or your office. I will bring halava. I think that's a food too.
I don't know. I mean, that's hard to say. It depends. You can always contact us to see, you know, what days you're talking about, because it's just like, you know, any specific dates hard to say.
Let's see. Here we go. What percentage is Umar going to win in Nashville? Oh, geez, you're asking Coach Javier Mendez.
Yeah, 100%. You're asking me, so it's 100%.
Oh my goodness. Oh, someone was asking me about something we did with Islam that never came to fruition. I forgot. Yeah, people were asking, would you take Yair under your wing? And well, if nobody was there, I'm sure you would. But
he's good where he's at. He's good where he's at.
Okay, well, this is a statement more than anything, but Topuria is a dangerous fight for Volk.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. More dangerous. More dangerous. More competitive.
Do you think it's equal punching power or a little bit more, or speed and
I don't know, but the IQ, boxing IQ of Topuria is higher, and his jiu-jitsu is slightly better. His wrestling, the strength. I mean, there's a lot of factors. These guys match up extremely well. Oh my gosh. What a fight. That would excite the hell out of me, because that one, I don't know. I don't know how that one would go. I really don't.
This is okay. Hello from San Jose, California. I'm about to go to Golden House near AKA. Is that a restaurant?
Golden House? I don't know. Is it a restaurant?
Maybe it is.
Maybe. No.
Oh, people say they missed the AKA videos. Well, I have not been posting a ton because we haven't had a ton lately. I don't know. Is there anything going on? You get Umar training, you get Tahir training, and they're kind of like, coach, I don't want to film today. That's kind of what's going on.
It's me. I haven't been wanting to film. I haven't, just in the mood type thing.
Yeah, you got to be in the mood to film. You got to get fired up. It's not a natural thing.
And then something funny has to happen. It's not like planned. I just catch it as I have to be ready. And I go, this one is good. I don't just go, okay, guys, come in and do. We don't plan it. It's just, let's go.
So basically, I mean, yeah, you need your special actors. You need DC. You need the protagonist to really make a video. He shows up. He shows up. Your camera goes up.
Yeah, DC and Khabib show up as instant camera work, but I don't need any of them. But what I need is that feeling, But those guys do have that more than anybody else. DC and Khabib have that goofy attitude all the time, more than anybody.
This one was I don't know if you know this, but Ubed Chowdhury, love from India. What about Usman? When is he fighting next? So Usman's fighting next month, right? He's fighting in Tennessee. Headline.
No. Usman's from
Usman.
Bellator.
My bad. I was saying Umar. Jeez.
No,
I do that too.
we don't know yet. We don't know September, October, November, December. We have no idea. We know he's fighting in Bellator. Brett Premise is his opponent, but we don't know when.
Yeah, it's a Grand Prix kind of thing, right? It's like a tournament
It's
style.
a semifinals, yeah.
That's interesting. What do you think about the tournament styles? I mean, I think it's kind of exciting. I wish they would do them closer together.
I like them. But as the way Bellator runs them, I like them. The way PFL does them, I don't, because I don't never know who what champ is. I think they need to do similar type scenario. Have the champions defending their titles, one fight, and then enter like this particular weight in the tournament. That's what I think.
Who's the funniest out of all Dagestani fighters? That's a good question. From football, DZ Best.
Abu Bakr.
Yeah. Dagestan gangster.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny. He doesn't even have his own channel. He should have his own channel.
He's the funniest. Popular. He's the funniest. Yeah, he's the funniest.
Let's see. Okay, this is an interesting question. Coach, which is better, sprint running or long distance running, and why for fighting? I just say it's for fighting.
They're both
FFL.
they're both equal. You have to do both equal. Long distance running, you have to do well. Take long distance is the better of the two because you can get away with 2 sprint days and 3 long distance days and 1 hill day. So let's go long distance only because you should do at least 3 long distance days.
Is that what keeps you going strong into the 5th round, or is that a combination of grappling and running, you'd say?
It's a combination of
And
everything.
boxing, all three. It's
Yeah. Everything is combined. Everything's added to this because it just adds to what you're doing.
Well, you could take a boxer and make him run with a long distance guy and he'd get smoked. Or you could take a long distance runner and have him hit the heavy bag and he'll get smoked real early, if he goes as hard as he can. So you have to really develop your cardio in each one of those aspects.
Anaerobic.
And the grappling, which is a whole different thing. If you're with a good grappler and you're up against a guy that can bench press 400 pounds, but you got grapple strength, you could still manhandle that guy because his bench press really means nothing in that situation.
Well, it means you got to wear him out.
You let him take his one push, and then all of a sudden he's lactic acid. And
well, it's not that easy. Those guys are super strong. They're not that easy to take out right away because you got to let them burn out.
You got to let them burn out.
Yeah. When they're not burned out, they're too strong, man, and they'll tear you apart. So you got to be smart. You can't be, this guy. No, you got to take it very serious. Guys that have a super strength, you got to take very serious. But you got to wear them out. Once they wear out, they can't no way to recover. No way to recover.
That's the way the Gracies used to do it a lot. They'd get you kind of like rope-a-dope grappling down in the LA.
Well, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. A long time ago, this was 15, maybe 16 years ago. Josh Thompson was screwing around with a friend of ours who was Mr. California. Okay, so Josh and him went in Josh threw him in the bed and they started grappling. Josh got him in an arm bar. Mark picked them up like this and slammed them on the bed. Okay. Now, if that was out somewhere else in concrete or something like that, that had been done. You'd been done because he's too strong. You understand? Too strong.
The armbar doesn't work against He-Man, a guy with 20
It will work if you wear him out.
Right.
Is what I'm saying. You have to wear him out. It will work. Jiu-jitsu to me is the most effective mixed martial arts, single mixed martial arts in the world, but it doesn't work with everybody the same. Some people it takes a while. Why do you think there's no time limits? Do you really think if we go back to no time limits, there's not 5-minute rounds? You don't think there'd be other jiu-jitsu guys becoming champions? Of course they would, because that's their game. Yeah, they last a long time. They'll wear you out, and so yeah,
that's true. Let's see. They say Khabib's son is a beast. Do you think that Khabib would let him do MMA? You were telling me about his working out a lot. He's in gymnastics or something.
Yeah. Muhammad is in gymnastics and swimming, and I don't know. I don't know what Khabib will or won't do. You just let him be him. His boy's a great little boy, and I don't know. He's got the genes. Let's put it that way. So what's made for him, I don't know. I'm not sure Khabib is looking for his son to fight. He's just looking for his son to be, a young, just growing up happy and being involved in sports.
These kind of questions make me feel like we're a store and we have nothing. I'm sorry, we're all out of bread. We're all out of pizza. It's like, hey, please, I want to know who's next for Makhachev. Is it Volk rematch or the winner of Poirier versus Justin? It's kind of like, we don't know until the supplier, Dana White, UFC knows.
They know.
And it's
they know who they want.
There's no secret conversations, guys, with me and Javier. Javier's going,
not with us.
This is who it is.
Now, you could talk to the manager. I mean, he might have an idea, but he doesn't talk to us really.
He's watching the pen hit the paper. You're not.
I find that I don't care because I'm not involved in the decision making. So, what's the point for me? I mean, the manager does a great job. Ali does an unbelievable job. Let him do his job. Ali will tell us who we're fighting, and I mean, he discussed it with Khabib. Ali speaks to Khabib, and Khabib speaks to whoever, or Ali will speak to the fighter directly, to Islam, and they'll work it out. Or Rizwan. Those are the guys that know. I don't know, and I don't call those guys. hey, what's going on? What are we doing? No, they tell me who we're fighting, and I go, okay.
Yeah, people the way TV sees it, it sounds like you're always having meetings every day. You're like, oh
No,
no, I was out in the park having some lunch. I didn't know what they were talking about. They were in Dagestan.
No, I don't have any decision making on who they fight. Zero.
Right. We got Coach. Can you give any tips on slipping? Means like slipping punches from Mishtusen Lepal. Okay, I'm sorry I don't say your name right, but
Drilling.
Yeah.
Drilling. Yeah, don't square up. I mean, this is square up. Turn this way so you're not square up, and then learn to move your head. Like when someone punches you here, you move your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You roll with the punch.
Roll with the punch, and then
that gives it more of a chance to slide by.
That's part of slipping. The other part is if a punch is coming straight, this way, this way, this way, this way, and just have someone punch repeatedly over and over again, and just keep working that, and then go into real sparring with somebody that's not that skilled, someone that doesn't have a great punch, and an amateur type guy. If you're an amateur guy, grab a guy that's even less amateur than you, and let them throw at you and then work slipping. That's the best way to get slipping, is practice with people that are easy to do with first, then go with high level people that normally you can't do it with, and then you'll be able to slip with them easier than you would if you started with a high level guy right off the bat. Don't go with high level guys to learn it. Drill it with lower level people, then go to higher level people when you're ready.
Let's see. Coach, what are your thoughts on Bellator Grand Prix lightweight winner? Is Usman winning the $1 million?
Yes, Usman's going to win the $1 million, and I hope he goes against, AJ McKee. That's the fight for the Bellator to make. That's the fight for, them to happen. But AJ has to fight, Pitbull's brother, Patricky. So let's see what happens. Or Patricio. I don't know which one it is. I mean, Patricio, and they're Pitbull brothers. So the bigger one, the one that Usman beat for the title, is fighting AJ McKee. Let's see what happens. The winner of that will be in the semifinals. Then they fight, to get in the finals. So I don't know, but I'm hoping it's AJ McKee, only because I think that's a great draw.
Yeah. He's coming up in weight to be in this Grand Prix, basically.
But AJ could get wiped out too by Pitbull too. So, hey, you thought Whittaker was going to win. The French guy was going to beat Brent Premis. I thought he was. I thought Brent was probably going to win, from what I heard. Then Brent goes and spoils the party. So don't go tell me Patricky can't, Pitbull can't spoil the party. He can spoil the party. Yeah, I'm just, he asked me who I want. I want AJ McKee in the finals.
That'd be exciting. Coach, we talked about this earlier, but let's recap for AJ, another guy named AJ, coincidentally. Coach, thoughts on Volk's performance yesterday?
Unbelievable performance, unbelievable IQ, stuck to the game plan, knows exactly what he wants, he visualizes what he wants, and he performs what he visualizes.
This is a good one from Anakin Skywalker. What was Javier's favorite fight from the card yesterday that shocked him the most? Like, which one you're like, whoa?
Whittaker's opponent, I was like, wow, that was unbelievable. I was like, wow, I didn't think he was that good. He shocked me. He was very impressive. Please.
So I'm just scanning through here to see if there's anything new. There are some repeats of what people have asked because they wanted to get their question asked. Well, this is interesting. If Islam has normal time to rehydrate, do you think he'll finish Volk? In other words, if he fights on what he's used to in Abu Dhabi instead of, you think that makes a difference?
Well, the 12 hours do make a difference, but let's please not forget how tough Volk was too. He was very strong in the 5th round, and he's known to have incredible workman-like cardio. So
a glass of water. It
definitely would make a difference. It definitely would make a difference for us to have an extra 12 hours to rehydrate. Yeah, and also let's not forget too, when you talk about weight, Volk was 2 pounds heavier fight night than Islam, so he was heavier that night. So when you're talking about a featherweight guy fighting a lightweight guy. Well, that night it was two fighters that weighed the same, fighting each other. It wasn't a light featherweight versus a lightweight. It was two fighters in the same weight category. Just one fighter is good enough to make lighter than that. So that probably meant that Islam could have rehydrated more too. If you look at it from that perspective, maybe another 12 hours, maybe Islam would have been 5-6 pounds heavier than what he was come fight time. Hard to say.
I think this one's funny. A tempting offer from Ruchin Iqbal. Coach, do you have any plans to visit Pakistan? We've got delicious burgers, Coke, and don't forget goat cooked inside ground and much more.
Yeah, someday.
The burger tour?
The burger tour.
Well, this has been a pretty good podcast. I'm seeing if there's anything else that I want to ask today. Anything else to close out there with, Hav? I think we did a good time. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, for going live with us. And I think we'll go live again soon. And like and subscribe. More likes on this. This will help the video grow. We want to get our numbers back up. We're trying to do this a little bit more frequently. And looking forward to talking to you again soon, Hav.
All right, man.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
All right, bye.